Welcome back to this week's Ohio Tech Report, another exciting week for tech and innovation in the Buckeye State. We have three stories that we're going to be talking about this week around a letter from a bunch of CEOs leading on computer science education, a second one around a big fund coming to Southwestern Ohio in the Cincinnati area, and then a third one about Ohio's place with automotive tech and kind of the future of transportation, which I'm excited to dig more into. But we have Keith Instone with us today. Keith is our resident Toledo champion. Keith, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all you're doing. And if you could just introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah. Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me. I've been excited about OhioX since it was still just an idea that you were working on. It's great seeing having it come to fruition after all these years. I work for a company called Stratascale. It's a national IT consultant, and I get to focus on innovation that helps our clients deliver better digital experiences. So I get to explore interesting tech and talk about how it helps our clients meet their business goals.
Awesome. And what type of clients are you typically working with at the company?
It's usually Fortune 1000 type things. So that's sort of our focus right now. So
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thanks again for everything you do. We definitely appreciate it. And we love getting to talk about Toledo and all the UX things, which we'll get to in a little bit. But story number one, Keith, that we'll dive into is a letter that came out this week from a number of over 500 business, education, and nonprofit leaders, so CEOs at these organizations around computer science and creating opportunities for every student. So basically, it's a letter that went to governors and education leaders in the public sector, so think elected officials and policymakers across the U.S., about calling on them to update curriculum in the K through 12 systems in each state for every student and every school to have the opportunity to learn computer science. OhioX, I myself, signed this on behalf of our organization on the work we're doing. And again, we're joined by a bunch of big companies from AT&T and Amazon and Meta and so many more. We're encouraging CEOs from across Ohio to join this and join with us. And a couple interesting stats, Keith, that I pulled out from this letter and some of the work that Codeorg, which put it together, is doing, is that while the U.S., we lead in technology, only 5% of our high school students study computer science. And I thought that was absolutely crazy. And I think shows the need that, we got to make sure that more students have the opportunity to study and learn and at least see if they like computer science. And I think that's such a big thing in the education realm.
yeah. Code.org is a great organization. I've been following them for years. I like this effort because it was a little bit more top down, right? It was talking at a higher level. They've been a big proponent of these like days of code. And, I know in Northwest Ohio, some high schools would pick, and even elementary schools would pick up a day of code. And so at least their teachers were teaching a day of code, but we need more than just a day of code done by teachers that have a little bit of extra time. So we definitely need to incorporate it. Long ago when I was in high school, I learned everything I knew about computer science in high school by myself. Right. And then I was lucky enough to go to BGSU and to get a degree. But, again, I was just lucky that I had, my dad got me into computer science. I didn't have anybody in high school steering me that way. They were steering me towards other careers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think over time, it's been interesting. It was like shop class and home economics. And then probably more recently, stuff like financial literacy and classes in that realm. But, if we just look at where the world's going, at least having some basic kind of digital computer science literacy is vitally important. And also, if a lot of students, if, your parents aren't technologists, like,
right.
how are you going to pick it up? And it can be really tough on that. So I think it's a really important thing. We're excited to participate. And again, kind of some of the education and advocacy work that we at OhioX get to do is right up that alley. So we'll link the website, which is ceos4cs.com, in the comments of this, so you can check it out. And again, whether you're a CEO or the CEO at your company, we'd encourage folks to check it out. Consider signing along with us. We'll go to story number two, Keith, and this is out of Cincinnati. And CincyTech is going to raise, as reported in Cincy Inno, a $100 million fund. It's the largest to date to back seed stage startups across the Midwest. So this was a story from Liz Engel, who we've had on our podcast, and we love linking her work. She does a great job in Cincinnati. But it's a $100 million fund. It's fund 6 for them. Since it's kind of going through SEC type stuff and fundraising, they're not allowed to comment on it, but $100 million, that would be massive and a really, really big amount. So love following that. And again, Keith, as you know, it takes a lot of money to build incredible products.
Yeah, yeah, and I know over the years I've seen different reports of how the Midwest wasn't getting its fair share of capital and things, and so we definitely make some progress, and then the rest of the world is investing even more, right? So even if we get to a good point, it's like great, again we climbed up the charts to number 10. Well, we're not going to stay at number 10 unless we keep getting more things like this happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it takes money to build awesome things, and so it's great to see more money hopefully coming in, and a big one at that. So we'll go to story number 3, Keith, our final one for this week, and this is one from Digital Journal, which we'll link. And I really love this, and it's titled "Ohio's Rise as an Automobile Innovation Hub Shifts Up Gear." So it's talking about a French company that's coming to Columbus area. It's talking about things like Honda's North American manufacturing headquarters, which is here in Ohio. It's talking about Hyperion Motors, which is coming back to Ohio from the LA area. And then, of course, there's things like Ford in Lorain County and their EV plant, and a ton going on. But I feel like it's happened in all these different pockets of the state. And so it's a little, kind of, you got to do some of the homework to kind of connect all the dots. But I love this because it's something that Ohio's been great at: automotive, automobiles, manufacturing. But the innovation side of it, the future of it, really seems to be shaping up. So we'll link this story in the comments. But Keith, again, I love this because it's like, what is Ohio good at? What have we been historically good at? It's stuff like this.
Right. And as I've been talking to folks in Northwest Ohio about technology, right, whenever I could frame it around the automotive industry, then they would listen because like that made sense because they were helping local parts of the automotive supply chain, on their day to day, right? So they could relate to some of these, like, yeah, like we don't do software around here, but wait, software for mobility is tied into the manufacturing of the vehicles, right? So it's great that we're good at building the cars and we're getting great at building the future cars, but we also need some of those software skills to write the software and help design the software for the cars. Otherwise, we'll just sort of fall back into just being the greasy hands people, even if it's an electric motor versus a gasoline powered motor. So again, I think this is great for us to build on our legacy and go even farther. So
absolutely. And again, as things get reshored and brought back from overseas, as we've kind of seen the trends over the past couple of years, probably because of COVID, it's a real Ohio opportunity to kind of, in some ways reclaim what we've been really great at. And I love that. So Keith, we got about a minute left. Those were our 3 stories of the week, but I know you've been working on some stuff with us at OhioX around user experience and your passion for UX in the state. So tell folks what's coming up in August and what we can look forward to.
Yeah. Over the past couple of years, I've been just connecting with my user experience colleagues across the state as we're, trying to help our local companies. So, there's a group of great folks in Cincinnati, and they've been trying to reach out to their K through 12 counterparts to teach them about user experience careers. So when you started the Ohio Tech Day last year, I just gathered all the folks that I knew across the state, and we collaborated on a basic event, and we hope to do more this year. And so as we've been sort of this loose ragtag group of folks, we found that, that your mission aligns with our mission, right? If Ohio is a tech hub, then we want to also be a great user experience hub on top of that, right? Because again, all this technology is great. We've got to make sure it's easy to use. We've got to make sure that we address some of those ethical, sort of the human aspect of it, right? So again, I think we've got a great synergy between us user experience folks, adding to the conversation about Ohio as a tech hub.
Absolutely. And that's another thing. A lot of links this week, but we'll be linking the registration for Keith's UX Roundtable in the comments. So check it out. Coming up in August, about a month away. And again, it's just the latest. We have a product roundtable led by Sean Leitner from the Cleveland area. We have a Marcom roundtable led by Nicole from Pandata and Karen from Jute. And then Keith's heading up our new UX roundtable. So that's our 3rd one. It's pretty cool to see them all come together. But Keith, thank you so much for joining. 3 interesting stories this week. We'll have a bunch of links, as we mentioned, in the comments. But Keith, thanks again for joining. Thanks for all you do. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.